Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm going to show you how to use a limiter the best way. This is the best limiter that I'm going to show you guys, and today I am in FL Studio, so you can basically use any FL Studio that you have. I've got my instrumental, and my instrumental sounds like this. All right, let us go ahead and open up what is called a Fruity limiter. This is the one that you find in FL Studio, Fruity Loops. You're gonna find this particular limiter. This is the best limiter, and before we go anywhere, let me just explain what is there. Once you open up the limiter, you will find noise gate section, you will find envelope section, and lastly you will find the loudness section. This is the best limiter. It has all that you need, and then apart from that, when you come down here, there is limiter and compression. So basically you can get, it's like 2-in-1. You can get a compressor, you can use it as a compressor, and at the same time you can use it as a limiter. So it's just a matter of switching from limiter to compression. See that? Very easy. But for now, we are going to talk about limiting the best way on how to use a limiter. Let me show you what this thing can do, and how best this thing can really help you out, especially when it comes to understanding how a limiter works. The work of a limiter is to help you limit your sounds and just be able to control the peaks of your sound. That is the work of a limiter. Let me show you how the first section works. The first section is a noise gate, and this is how it works. This works as a gate where you silence the parts where the singer is not singing, or the parts where your instrumental is a little noisy. You can use a noise gate. If you're using samples, you can use a noise gate like to silence those parts which you don't want. Let me just kick in my instrumental so you guys can hear exactly what I'm talking about. So here we go. I'm gonna start with the threshold, and then from there we are gonna move to gain, and then from there we are going to move to release. So let us start with the threshold. Let me play this. And immediately you guys were able to hear the effect just engaging. Now, what is the work of the threshold, noise gate threshold? The threshold commands the gate to start working. For example, right now the noise gate is not working, but immediately I turn this on all the way to fast, the noise gate is really gonna work. So this commands the gate to start working. I want the noise gate to work. So whenever you want the noise gate to work, make sure you start with the threshold. I'm gonna do it again. So you can set the threshold. I'm just trying to give you guys an example. Don't overdo it like that. Set it to a place you feel like it's okay, and where the noise is a little bit taken out. Don't take it extreme. Don't do it extreme. Don't do it much. So once you have set your threshold, next is the gain. What does it do? This sets where the gating should start from. It also sets less or more gating. This is what I mean. It sets where the gating should start from. Like the noise gate, I want you to start from here. This is the work of the gain threshold. I want you to start from here. So this sets a command, like I command you to start from here. It also sets less noise gating, or more noise gating. For example, let me just turn on my instrumental. So realize that my threshold is around 14 negative 14.3 dB, and yet there is no effect going on. For example, let me play it again and get a listen. The instrumental is like literally nothing is going on. So these sets are where the getting should start from. For example, let me just take it back. So immediately I take it back, you guys are gonna hear another effect. You will hear that the getting will start engaging, and getting will start. Let me take this back. I'm gonna do it like this. You can even see the line. We want you to look at this line. Immediately I do this, it sets the getting, where the getting should start from. Moment I like take it back, like you take it a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and immediately you take it, it's like exactly where the threshold is, exactly where the peaks are supposed to be. But immediately you begin to take it back like this, you are setting a command where getting should start from. I hope you guys are getting this. This is where getting, I want you, for example, I'm gonna take it a little bit. I want you to start from here. Watch this. From here, I want you to be less, just a little. I want you to be more less, just a little. Or I want you to be too much, like just chop off everything, cut everything out. I don't want that noisy part to be there. So you literally like just silence the entire instrumental. So let me take it back to 0. This is like a faster one, is like back to 0, and then I'm gonna play the instrumental. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take it all the way back to the left. So watch this. So remember, you have set your threshold, and now you are setting your gain. So here we go. So immediately you take the gain back like this, the getting is set, like the command is set. This is where getting should start from. This is where I don't want you to cut off the wanted frequencies, the wanted sound. I want you to only affect the parts where I don't want, like the parts where I'm silent or the parts where there is noise. That's where I want you to start getting from, noise getting from. So here we go. So let us set it there for now. So that is the work of the gain. Once again, the work of this gain on the noise gate section, the work of the gain is to set where the getting should start from. I want you to start from here. After you have set your threshold, I want you to start from here. And more is like this to the negative side, and less is to the positive side. So the more you take it back, the more getting you're gonna have. The more you take it to the right, positive side, the less getting you're gonna have. So let me set it back again. And next we have the noise release. What is the work of the release? This sets how fast or slow the gate is released after opening or after closing. How fast or how slow the gate is released or commanded to release. I want you to be releasing the gate at this speed, or I want you to be releasing the gate faster, or I want you to be releasing the gate slower. A faster release means the gate will act faster and therefore silences or cuts through even more. Therefore more sensitive, like the more you like push it to the positive side, to the negative side, the faster. The more you take it to the right side, I mean to it's gonna be slower. So this is gonna be faster and this one is gonna be slower. It's actually the opposite with this one. This is gonna be faster, this one is gonna be slower. So let me show you guys what I mean. Let me just set it back, reset it, and I'm gonna do it now. A slower release sets acts slower, like becomes less sensitive. A faster release becomes very sensitive. I want you to look at the graph, what is happening. Look at all these chopped off frequencies. So when I set it like to slower, it's just gonna be slow like that. But when I set it to faster, it's just gonna be doing it faster. Let's play it again. I want you guys like to take a listen to this. So I'm gonna play it on a very fast release, noise gate. Remember, this is the noise gate section. So I'm gonna play it on a very fast release, and then from there I'll take it all the way to very slow, so you guys can take a listen to what's happening. The sound, the frequencies are just being chopped, right? Yeah, so now I'm gonna take it to a very slow release, as you can see. The sound can now be heard. The sound is smoother. So whenever you wanna have a smoother sound, make sure that your release is not too much, unless if maybe the noisy parts are too much. You can set it on a very fast, so it can just chop off and silence the noisy parts. But if it's not too much, then just set it on medium or just on the middle like that. So whenever you take your noise gate release to very slow, the less sensitive your gate is just gonna be. You'll find this in almost every gate that you have, every gate plugin that you have. So the less sensitive you want your gate to be, take it all the way to hard right. The more sensitive you want, take it to hard left. It's just gonna be, your noise gate is just gonna be very sensitive. So less sensitive to the right, more sensitive to the left. So that's the work of the release. So let us set the release right there on a little bit less sensitive part. Then next we have what is called the envelope section, and then in the envelope section you will find the sustain. The work of the sustain is to sustain the limiter by prolonging it before it acts. Now we are dealing with the limiter. This is for the limiter. This is the noise gate, and this envelope is for the limiter. So this sustains the limiter by prolonging it before it acts. You are prolonging the sound, like you are stretching the sound before starting. So this gives limiting more time before acting. So it's like, I want you to have more time. Take your time before you can act. I don't want you to like act immediately. I just want you to be taking 4 seconds before you act. I want you to be taking maybe 66.87 milliseconds before you act. So it's like a timer. You are setting it on a place you feel like, I don't want you to be acting immediately. I don't want you to be acting after 1 second. I want you to be acting after 4 seconds, or I want you to be acting after 3 seconds. I want you to be acting after 10 seconds. So that's the work of the sustain. Once again, the work of the sustain is to set time in between limiting, where you set time for limiting. I want you 2 minutes or 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 1 milliseconds. I'm gonna demonstrate it. Let me just play the instrumental so you guys can see. Let me put it on reset. So here we go. I want you to look at this line right here, this one right here. So this represents a very slow sustain. This is a set of 1000 milliseconds. So you have set like 1000 milliseconds for this to be acting very slowly. Now if you want it to act very fast, then you set it to 0.00 milliseconds, or basically just hard left like this. So this simply means I want you to be acting immediately. I don't want you to wait any longer. I have no patience. I just want you to be acting immediately. Immediately, I want you to be limiting those peaks. I want you to be limiting those high peaks, those frequencies. Just chop them off. I have no patience to wait. I'm not giving you enough time. I don't have time. So do it immediately. So that's the work of the sustain bar. If you like, I have patience, don't do it quickly, just do it after 4 seconds, then you can set it, you can take it all the way to hard right, and then it's just gonna be doing it slowly like this. So these lines right here represent the time in between limiting, before limiting takes place. So you see the time between the limiting, when limiting should take place, here and here, here and here. So this is basically the time that is taken before limiting takes place. So it's like, I want you to immediately you finish attacking and limiting, I want you to breathe a little bit, to wait a little bit, and then capture those transients, attack again, wait a little bit. So that's the work of the sustain. Then next we have release. This is the release. The work of the release is to set how slow or how fast the limiter is released before it attacks again. How fast or slow the limiter is released before it attacks again. Like, I want you to release what you attack at a certain time before you attack. I want you to wait a little bit, or don't wait a little bit. Keep holding them or keep releasing them. You catch, you release, you catch. So this sets how slow or how fast the limiter is released before it attacks again. Remember, I said the word again, before it attacks again. Don't release immediately. Release after 4 seconds, or release after 8 seconds, or after 9 seconds or 10 seconds. I'm going to demonstrate it. Let me just play. So a faster release releases them immediately. The attack is faster, the release is faster. Immediately the limiter works on those transients. It's not like capturing or holding them for a long time. Immediately those transients or frequencies are chopped off. The release releases them immediately, and then goes on to capture more, releases immediately. This is why you can hear that the sound is dropping a little bit when I take it to hard left. For example, look at the graph, what's happening when I take the release to very slow, and then watch what is going to happen when I take it very fast like this. So I'm gonna let it play on very fast, on a faster release. Then from there I'm gonna take it to a very slow release. The sound is more like, becomes like that of a synth effect. That's what happens when you set your release, your limiter release, on a very fast release. Now I'm gonna take it to a very, very slow release. I want you guys to take a listen to this. A very, very slow release gives it that natural sounding, does not like immediately release those frequencies, or those chops off those frequencies or those high peaks. It releases them slowly before it engages again. So that's the work of release. The next one is the attack. This engages the limiter immediately when you set it to faster, and then when you set it to slower, it engages the limiter slowly. So a faster attack engages the limiter immediately. For example, let me do this. I'm gonna take it to a faster attack, hard left. So a very fast attack attacks immediately. A very slow attack attacks it very slowly. They are being chopped off immediately. The high peaks, like these high peaks, are being chopped off immediately. A very slow attack chops the transients or those peaks which are a little bit higher than the normal peaks. Are slower. A very fast attack just chops off immediately. Like whenever you wanna like control the sound and just chop off, maybe the kick is coming out a little bit, or maybe the bass is coming out a little bit, or maybe the snare is coming out a little bit, is just becoming too loud. You can set your attack on a faster attack, so that whenever that snare engages and tries to come out, the limiter is just immediately gonna chop it off. But if you just wanna a slower attack, then you can set it to hard right, so that every time that kick or snare comes up, the limiter just limits it a little bit, chops off just a little bit, and just smoothes off those sharp edges. So I'm gonna play it on a very fast attack. I want you guys to look at these peaks, and after that I'm gonna play it on a very slow attack. Look at these. They are fast, like this one, too fast, right? Now I'm gonna set it all the way to very, very slow attack, so you guys can see how much time is in between. So you see, attacks it very slowly. Even the curves are a little bit like not much. So that's the work of the attack on a limiter. Then next we come to the ceiling. This sets where limiting must start limiting the high peaks. It is more like the threshold. This is more like every time I work with this, it reminds me of this guy right here, the threshold. So this sets where limiting must start limiting. This is where I want you to start limiting the high peaks. More or less, I just want you to like work on this level. For example, let me demonstrate it. This is what I mean. This is this sets where limiting must start from. Watch what is going to happen as soon as I take it up. So let's say you want limiting to start from here. Watch I want you to pay attention on the green line. If let's say your peaks are reaching somewhere here, and you say, I don't want these peaks to be crossing here. I want you to like start chopping them off from here. Those which are high, like snares, the kick or the bass is just too coming out. I want you to start chopping it from here. So it's like setting up the threshold. Or maybe if maybe they are here, you set it up, you set your ceiling to this place. I want you to start chopping them off from here, to start cutting, or everything that tries to go beyond this, I want you to start cutting it. So I'm gonna set it on reset, then from there I'm just gonna drop it so you guys can take a listen and see what's really happening and what the ceiling can do. Look at the line, look at the line. Immediately I set the ceiling here, the line started dropping all the way to here. Watch what is gonna happen when I like increase the ceiling. The cutting is just gonna start exactly where the ceiling starts from or ends from. You see that? The ceiling starts chopping from here and just sealing everything from here. So this is the work of the sealing, just to it sets where limiting must start from. I want you to start limiting from here. So limit my, like, those peaks or the kicks or the snares from here. Now I'm gonna set it all the way to very, very slow sealing. So as you can listen, the snare is even coming out more. It's more punchier. Why? Because the ceiling is on very fast and also just raised up. So it means that none of those peaks are being chopped off. Nothing is the limiting is not really happening as it should happen. Why? Because the ceiling is just way too high. But whenever you just want to like control those peaks, make sure you drop the ceiling. You set your ceiling to a place you feel like, okay, this is where I feel like the snare is okay, and I feel like those peaks or those frequencies which we're trying to jump up and down are controlled like this. So this green line represents the ceiling. So we have set our ceiling, and that's important, especially when you don't want your instrumental, your mix to clip. You set your ceiling. I don't want you to go above this. I'm gonna set you, and once you set, it is sealed. Next, we have this SAT. This SAT means saturation. This means saturation, where this sets the level where saturation should start from on your wave. For example, let me just play this. Saturation adds a certain character to your sound. So whenever you want a little bit of saturation, like on your wave, to just saturate it on top, just a little bit on top, you can set a softer saturation, and your sound is just gonna sound great. So this plugin is good because it also comes with saturation, so you don't have to get worried about finding a saturation plugin during your mixing or mastering. This limiter is good because it comes with saturation. You can saturate your sound and just add saturation, adds certain harmonics to your sound and just makes your sound great. And especially the snare and the kicks just sound warmer and rounded off, if I can put it in that way. Then finally the gain increases the volume after limiting has been applied. As you can see, for example, let me just set the ceiling to this level. I'm gonna drop the volume. So now, once you have worked all these and then you have set everything up, you realize that your volume is a little bit won't be on the same level where you wanted it to be, where your volume was, and that's not a problem. And this is why this limiter comes with a gain. You can now increase the volume and take back the volume to where the volume was, for example, like this. So let's say if your volume was there, then you take it there by using the gain. So the gain is, to simplify it, this is just a volume controller. So you can control your volume from here: increase, hard right, or reduce it, hard left. So this is the work of a limiter. And then curve. This curve is just how you want to like shape your curve like this. Check what's happening here. When I take it to 8, the curve is shaped like that. When I take it to like So the first one shapes the attack curve, how you want the curve of your attack to be. Like if you just want it to be like straight like this and attack, you can set it up like that. If you just want it to be like a slope, you can set it like that. So that's the work of this curve right there. And also this one is the release curve. Do you want it to just be limiting like this, or you want it to be like a very nice smooth curve? So personally, I'd rather set it on 3 to 3. This is okay. And basically, guys, this is how everything works out. And this one right here is just a matter of how fast you want this to be moving. How fast you want this spectrum to be moving. If you want it slower, you can drop it down. If you want it faster, you can like take it up like this. You can take it faster, you can take it slower. So guys, if you've loved this tutorial, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget also to share, and I will see you in the next one.